It's a long way from being the full Ireland side, but remember, Leinster did supply the core of the squad that won the Six Nations title for a second successive season in 2015. 13 of the 23 that whipped Scotland in the final and decisive Six Nations game were Leinster men, so you certainly wouldn't describe this as a weak Ireland outfit.
No, it's a good Irish team, there's no doubt. You're missing the Munster and Connacht guys, and there's a lot of guys trying to impress here tonight. Joe Schmidt will look at this as the start of the World Cup preparation, and he'll be expecting a really good performance from the individuals and then to the collective, and this is the start of it, really.
Well, no game at this stage of a World Cup cycle is without purpose, and Joe Schmidt will cast his famously forensic eye over the players and proceedings tonight. And it's Ian Madigan. One of the questions to be answered is, can Ian Madigan be trusted as an out half in an Irish shirt at the highest level? He gets a test this evening. Paddy Jackson on the bench standing by to come on. He will be pressing his case as well, no doubt. Here's Jimmy Gopperth, and bizarrely tonight we have Gopperth, the man who kept Ian Madigan out of the 10 shirt for most of the last 2 seasons, playing right against him, and the Baba's starting in Baba's style. And here is the great Joe Rokothoko, 46 tries for the All Blacks in 68 appearances, and the Barbarians immediately getting into the rhythm and trying to get the ball through the hands. Pienaar, Alex Cuthbert, who won the Barbarians golf day at Adair Manor on Tuesday with a dodgy 38 points off an even dodgier handicap. It's Ian Kirchner. We've got a couple of big lumps in the second row tonight, and Capo Ortega and Mikatazi, the Georgian. Now Jimmy Gopperth, and here is one of those big beasts. And straight through the middle they go, and that's great work by Gerhard Vosloo. The Toulon flanker wasn't quite the support there
Not on the ball
for the Babas that there needed to be to progress with that attack. Here is Gopperth, will it bubbles away from Jimmy Gopperth and Ireland. Flood into the breakdown, and the double Six Nations champions of the last 2 years just cannot get their hands on the ball here in this first couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's been all the Babas, no surprise, moving the ball. We won't see a lot of kicking tonight. Good turnover there, good block from Rokothoko, kick.
Here is Gopperth again, a man who likes to run. We've seen that in his 2 seasons at Leinster. He gives it a go, and it was Shane Jennings in support. Shane Jennings, he's won the Pro 12, he's won the Heineken Cup, he's won the English Premiership with Leicester. Quite a career.
Yeah, we can see Vosloo go through here, and that'll be a little concern for the Irish defence. Goes through Dieck there, and he's a good player, Vosloo. Very, very, very successful in France with Brive, Clermont, and now with Toulon. Very, very strong Barbarian side tonight. Led by Gopperth, I think, at 10. This type of game will suit Gopperth. He's a really good footballer, good at bringing guys in and out.
Dan Tui takes a good line-out ball. And here is Ian Madigan. And we all know about his threat as a running 10. Luke Marshall back in the midfield, his last appearance. First test against Argentina last June. So he gets an opportunity to make a statement here tonight, but turnover ball, Winand Olafia, and they're trying to switch the play here. And here is Mikutazi, the Georgian. Jimmy Gopperth, now David Smith, he's in a bit of space. Here is Smith. 13 tries he has scored in the top 14 this season. Smith on the wing for Toulon, a deadly finisher.
Yeah, he's a superb player, great pace, great balance, footwork. You can see Jack McGrath taking it in here, and it's his old teammate Shane Jennings who locks onto the ball, strips it, and straight away Rokothoko moving the pass, looking to get width in the ball straight away. They won't want David Smith getting ball on the wing with space.
Well, Mr. Barbarians, Mickey Steele-Bodger said this week, if you don't have fun, it's your own damn fault. Here's Pienaar, they're having fun already, or the Babas. Here's David Smith, trying to get himself involved in the play. He's an escapist runner. He's hard to bring down, but he's tremendously quick feet as well. And here goes Rokothoko, and already it's exhausting out there. Not even 4 minutes on the clock, and the ball has already been through many, many pairs of hands. Here's Vosloo, that's a good offload, and he finds Techeritzo, the Argentinian loose head prop forward, 4 times capped by his country. And now it's Gopperth who checks, and Richard Strauss, his clubmate, tackles him. So they should know the Gopperth moves, these Leinster men. They've seen it often enough in training and on game day. Now it's Halani, the big Japanese number 8, out of the Panasonic Wild Knights club, coached by Robbie Deans, the coach of the Baa-Baas tonight. Vosloo. And goes Pienaar again for Gopperth, and it's Ian Kirshner. And here's the chance for width on the outside. It's big Alex Cuthbert. Oh, he won the golf day. And now he's scoring tries for the Baa-Baas as well. What a week it's been for the Welsh Lions so far.
Yeah, it's a super score. Great hands from the Baa-Baas there. Full width of the pitch. Started off with Vosloo with some big carries around the fringes there. Halani making a carry as well. We can see the wide pass here from Gopperth. Kirshner just draws in the Irish defence. Gilroy gets caught in the comes in off the wing, and a great score for the Baa-Baas.
I'm not quite sure how you apply the Joe Schmidt mantras of precision, detail and delivery against a crowd of raving loonies like this. They're just going to run all day at you.
Well, they haven't had the ball, and that's the key for Ireland. They'll certainly have a little bit more structure in them tonight than the Baa-Baas, but you got to get the ball. If the Barbarians have a lot of possession like that, they're going to be very, very dangerous all night.
I did look up the definition of a barbarian: savage, primitive, uncivilized. Quinny, you were the perfect fit.
I fit the bill perfectly. I don't think it was fit enough to run around the field, though.
Alan Quinlan, who played here for the Baa-Baas in 2010 against Ireland. Malcolm O'Kelly played that day too in a Baa-Baas shirt. And here goes Gopperth with the conversion. It's a twisting breeze out there, so it's going to be quite difficult for the kickers. And this is the sixth meeting between Ireland and the Baa-Baas. Ireland have actually got a very poor record. They've only won once, 2008 at Kingsholm. Shane Horgan in the studio will remember that. He scored 2 tries. And Ireland have lost 3 times in Ireland to the Baa-Baas. And they once conceded 70 points in Dublin. They also lost here at Thomond Park 29-23 when the man alongside me, Alan Quinlan, was playing for the Baa-Baas. So they've got a bit of work to do in terms of improving that record of Ireland, and already 5 points to nil down. And at last, a bit of ball for the Irish to play with. It's Jack McGrath, Dan Toohey, Chris Henry flicks it on to Dave Carney. Remember, he was very much a favourite of Joe Schmidt's in the 2014 Six Nations. Started all the games, but then suffered that horrendous ACL injury. Now Devon Toner. Owen Redden to Ian Madigan. And a bit of a fumble in midfield by Collie O'Shea, who was given his first cap by Leinster by Joe Schmidt, actually, whenever he was coach there.
Yeah, just overruns it. A big night for Collie O'Shea. Big opportunity for him. He's a lot of promise. Guy who probably hasn't played enough in the last couple of years. He's 24, has had injuries, but he's getting the opportunity tonight, and unfortunately pass is just a little bit behind him there, and that came from a good Ireland turnover, and I think that's where Ireland really need to focus. Set piece, breakdown, and their defensive organisation against the Barbarians tonight.
Schmidt looks on with Simon Easterby to his left, Les Kiss to his right, who will be the Ulster head man after the World Cup. And there's Robbie Deans, the coach of Panasonic Wild Knights in Japan, and he's come up against Rob Penny this season, formerly of this parish, coaching rival, who is coaching the Shining Arcs. And unfortunately for the Baa-Baas, they've already lost a man, and it's Rodrigo Capa Ortega, who is off injured after that. It's a nasty collision. He looked like he was pretty much out as he hit the turf there, the former Uruguayan captain.
Yeah, he hits Devon Toner's hip there, going for the double tackle. Looks like he's certainly not in good shape at the moment there. Hopefully he's okay. Very, very physical guy. I played against him many times for Cass, and no mean slouch coming on. And Nathan Hines, he's been here a few times before and had results. Very good player. I
think the phrase physical guy might apply to the two of them.
Yeah, well, one physical beast off and another on.
And again, Nathan Hines, of course, who will understand Leinster very well, having played for them, having won a Heineken Cup for them, and playing with Leinster men and against Leinster men tonight, Nathan Hines, in his final season as a professional before he joins the Scottish coaching setup.
Set.
So Pinar feeds, Halani to Pinar again, off goes Rokathoko. Played quite often this season for Bayonne in the 13 shirt, scored a try at outside centre for Bayonne at the weekend, even though they were relegated at the end of it, the Basque side. Now Zayn Kirchner looks for David Smith and a very difficult floated pass for the winger. And I was watching the Barbarians Twitter feed all week, and there were photographs very early on in the week, in fact as early as Monday, men with pints in their hands in the Adair Manor Hotel. But the Tuesday session, which Robbie Deans took, was a pretty disciplined session. They even did some live scrummaging. I'm sure Adam Jones enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it's that's what we've heard, that it's been pretty disciplined, and they've prepared well, because I think they want to get a result as well, the Barbarians tonight.
Madigan trying to bring Collie O'Shea into the game. He was playing in the All-Ireland final for Clontarf just a few weeks ago, and now he's playing against Joe Rokathoko, one of the greats of the game. Off goes Rob Carney. Owen Redden, who captained Ireland in November against Georgia. A great honour it was for the Limerick-born Leinster scrum half. So playing in his home parish here. Craig Gilroy, we've seen a lot of that spinning for Ulster this season. 11 tries in the Pro 12 for Craig Gilroy, just one behind the top man, Rhys Webb, and Ireland get the penalty.
Yeah, and the Barbarians actually surprisingly are flooding bodies into the breakdown. We see this great spin that Gilroy does, great pace. He's had a fantastic season, and I think Greg Garner penalises Dean Furey there, says he doesn't release. It's a little bit harsh, but the previous breakdown to that, Owen Redden is trying to dig out the ball. It's something that Ireland have been so good at in the last two Six Nations campaigns and in November, that their breakdown work.
There's been a couple of very tight games between the Babas and Ireland twice. There's been 1-point victories, 29-28 in the last meeting 3 years ago, and 31-30 in the Peacetime International at Lansdowne Road in 2000. Tadhg Furlong, important night for him. Marty Moore is rehabbing after an injury, so the tight head stocks may be shortened for the World Cup. Mike Ross is the go-to man for Joe Schmidt. He's on the bench tonight for Ireland. Chris Henry, fabulous to see him back in a green shirt after that mini stroke he suffered on the morning of the South Africa test in November, and he's the vanguard in that maul. Ireland well known for their power and efficiency in this area under Joe Schmidt, whether it was John Plumtree as forwards coach or latterly Simon Easterby. And off goes Owen Redden, brings in Luke Marshall. The Ulsterman sets the ball,
roll away first,
and it's a penalty for not rolling away against the Barbarians. And do you go for the points here, do you go for the corner, or do you give it a lash?
I think you've got to take your points here. He's going for the corner, he's doing the opposite, but I take the points. I think Ireland don't need to get drawn into a real open game here. They want to try and get a result, build some momentum. They've only come together in the last couple of days, so it's difficult for them. They haven't played together, this group, and they need to be more structured, and they want to try and get a result here tonight as well.
Yeah, 2-2.
Rickard Strauss, good line out ball for Devon Toner, all 6 foot 10 inches. In comes Robbie Diag, and he is powered backwards.
You play a player without the ball. 3.
But again, the Babas penalised Alan Jones for taking a man out without the ball. He looks confused.
You played a player without the ball.
Alan Jones wearing his club socks, as they do in the Babas. He's wearing the Abercrave stockings this evening. So again, Ireland going for the corner. I just felt up here in a rather open commentary position, a few spits and spots of rain. I hope those showers stay away.
You can see Adam Jones here pulling Jamie Heaslip straight out. Garner, the referee, gets it straight away.
Dan Toohey wearing the Paul O'Connell number 5 iconic Irish jersey.
Don't change your mind, 5.
And the Babas initially defending reasonably well. But for how long can they defend this maul from Ireland as they move inexorably towards the line?
Tackle
The answer
2!
is they've done a reasonably good job here, but it is Irish ball. Very, very slow ball, though, you have to say, and I'm sure the forwards will be disappointed there that they couldn't finish that ball off.
Yeah, they seem to have that go forward, that momentum going forward. I'm not sure Dean Faree gets in on the ball there. I'm not sure legally. It was hard for a referee to see it there. But, 2-3 yards out, Ireland had that momentum going forward. And this is what they need to do. This is the structure I'm talking about. Take it out of the Barbarians' legs. It gets a bit disjointed. He's stopping the ball coming back from there, whether he came in from the right side or not. But it's good pressure from Ireland, and this is where they need to tire out the Barbarians.
Crouch. Bind.
Well, I've heard it has been a pretty disciplined week, as you were saying, by the Barbarians. Their focus usually is on the social, the flair, the passion. But this week, Robbie Deans had them out here on Tuesday. They had a captain's run at Adair Manor yesterday, which was a pretty sharp session by all accounts.
Well, I tell you, in 2010, I took my phone off the hook in my room and locked my door after 2 or 3 days because it was heavy going.
Set.
You're just the man for that sort of action, Plymouth. Greg Garner wants this scrum nice and stable, and they've disrupted it well there, the Barbarians, but an Irish advantage here again, and they look for a bit of width through Rob Carney, and it's gone over the head of his brother Dave, and yet again the Barbarians are being penalised, penalty, and it's inside the 22 once more, so a lot of infringements by the Barbarians.
Yeah, it comes from the scrum there from Techeritzo, comes around and Ty Furlong, doesn't scrum it straight, walks around the angle, referee gives it straight away, and that's 4 or 5 penalties now. I think he needs to have a chat with Shane Jennings. That they're gung-ho on defence, they're not giving up anything, but they're definitely illegal in some of their defence there, and certainly in that scrum we have 2 line-outs, we have another breakdown.
Well, he's inexperienced, the Barbarians loose head Techeritzo from the Tukovan club, just 4 caps for his country.
Bind.
But of course, Argentina, well known for producing fine scrummaging props, so I'm sure he's handy enough.
Yeah, there's certainly no shortage of props from Argentina, and it's a test for Ty Furlong, and this is what Greg Feek will want. He'll want him tested here tonight if he's put into that environment, that World Cup environment. You're playing against a guy who's played international rugby here, big pack around him, putting that pressure on.
Shane Jennings, the skipper, said he was shocked, honoured and excited when he was told he was captaining the Barbarians tonight here in Limerick. Could well be his final professional game, and what a way to go out. Well, they're beginning to make a bit of a mess of this Barbarians scrummage, and the penalty count is mounting and mounting, and I know it is a Barbarians game, but Greg Garner may soon have to think about a yellow card.
Yeah, well, I think it's frustrating. I think certainly again Techeritzo again, he slips his bind, he goes down his knee. Good body position from Ty Furlong there.
They've actually got more experienced props on the bench than are starting this game tonight. I'm talking about the loose head, obviously not Adam Jones tight head with 100 caps, but Tomopio has played for New Zealand, he's an All Black, and Matthias Diaz has played for the Highlanders and has 19 caps for his country. Barbarians may have to think about bringing players like that on if it continues to develop like this in the scrum. We shall see.
Yeah, sure. Here we go.
If I was Jamie Heaslip, I'd be leaving the ball at the back of the scrum here and trying to ask that question, see if Furlong can get that nudge up on Techeritzo.
Tag Furlong, 2 World Junior Championships he's played in, 9 starts in those 2 World Junior Championships, and one of the coming men in the front row in Ireland. So again, it's a really solid scrummage from Ireland, picked up by Jamie Heaslip, and now here's Craig Gilroy dancing through, spinning through Gilroy, and continuing on the form he has shown all through this season in the white shirt of Ulster.
Well, he's electric when he gets the ball that close to the line. Great feet, comes back in a little switch, we can see it here. Redden comes out, little switch, back inside. Super break and super try. Slips off Shane Jennings there, but great pace, very, very hard to stop there. And that will give Ireland a lot of confidence. That pressure they'd on, that pressure they were building there to come away with a score.
Strangely, he did a spin after he'd scored.
He just loves that spin, doesn't he?
It's a waste of a spin.
His strength has increased so much in the last 12 months. He's got bigger, he has more power, and he certainly looks like a guy from his performances this year from Ulster who's hungry to get back into that Irish shirt.
Ian Madigan, Johnny Sexton is the man in possession of the Ireland number 10 shirt. Johnny Sexton, who will probably be playing for Racing Metro tomorrow night in the top 14 barrage against Stade Francais.
Yeah, we can see it again, and it's Holani that pushes out of the line, leaves that little bit of gap on the inside, and Gilroy's coming with great pace. Super move by Ireland.
Well, sadly, the forecast rain has arrived from the west, and the wind has got stronger too, and that hasn't gone 10, so they'll come back for the scrummies. The Barbarians jerseys this week, by the way, were presented by the Ulster legend Sid Miller of Barbarians Ireland and Lions fame. So that was a nice touch for the Barbars and a proud moment, I'm sure, for Sid Miller.
Stay in the scrum. Rest it on the melee.
Just think of this morning, Alan, this is the doomsday scenario for the Ulster men playing tonight. They are playing at Thomond while the Munster men are preparing to storm Ulster's citadel in Belfast. How painful.
Yeah, it'll be very painful for them. I think, you know, a disappointing end. They gave it a great go against Glasgow last week, but ultimately I think losing, you know, that draw on Munster against Munster in the Kingspan, you know, cost them that opportunity to have that home semi.
Heaslip picks up, and here's Redden. Now it's Collie O'Shea, and Redden pushes the ball through for Dave Carney to chase. Ian Kirchner is back with his new haircut. And now the try score for Barbarians, it's Alex Cuthbert. Scored a try in the first test for the Lions down in Australia, 2013, hacked away by Ruan Pienaar. The ball goes backwards, nice little flick from Vosloo, and off goes David Smith, takes on Ian Madigan, bounces Madigan. Pienaar to Gopperth. They're still determined to play, are the Barbarians, as is their tradition. Gopperth looks inside for Rokathoko, and a rather loose one taken by Cuthbert. 10 Leinster men in this Irish side, 6 more on the bench. Pienaar. Gopperth, the inside ball for Ian Kirchner, and that didn't work either. Ian Madigan picks it up, the advantage going to Ireland here. They're all on the blind side here for the Irish, and it's Collie O'Shea. He's brought down by Gopperth, and in comes Robbie Dyack.
7 off! 7!
Vosloo tries to get in and over on top of the ball there to turn it over, but Madigan has it now for Dan Toohey. And here's Redden. Madigan. Craig Gilroy brought down by Joe Rokathoko. And Owen Redden to Devon Toner. And trying to build something here, a little bit of patience about their play, and it's Madigan again for Collie O'Shea. Thought he sensed a gap there. Vinandala Fea was one of the players who hit him. He was double teamed there. The inside ball finds eventually Robbie Dyack. Now Madigan to Dave Carney, tackled by David Smith. He looks up for it. David Smith defensively as well as in attack.
Looky knees.
Again, lack of precision from Ireland, but here's Luke Marshall now. And the whistle has gone for a forward pass, so Luke Marshall will not celebrate his return to an Ireland shirt for the moment with a try.
Yeah, unlucky there from Marshall. The ball has gone over and back, and it started with the Barbarians. In fairness, they're playing to the spirit of the Barbarians. Loose ball here on the ground from Madigan. Yeah, it's just a little bit forward. That all started, that turnover came from a great Devon Toner hit. He's improved his game so much in the last 2 years. His physicality, his work rate. So brilliant hit from the turnover, and that's what Ireland need to do. They need to be disciplined in defence. The Babas are going to move the ball around, just number up, Watch David Smith, Rokathoko, these guys, because one-on-one, you need to help the guy on the inside, the outside in the defensive system, and Ireland did that really well there.
Ireland number 3 in the world at the moment. Robbie Dean's come out with an interesting comment this week on that rise to number 3. He said, Ireland are enjoying the innocence of the climb. And it's been quite a climb.
Yeah, it's been a great climb. I think there's pressure, there's expectation now. 2 Six Nations titles. It's really been remarkable the last 2 years, and they're getting a lot of depth now. There's guys playing here tonight who are that depth. They are putting their hands up, trying to get in. Marshall, you know, he's played before. Gilroy, Dave Carney wants to get back in there. Chris Henry. So he is getting some depth, and he's done a really good job at that as well, Joe Schmidt.
18 matches played under Joe Schmidt, won 14, lost just 4. And the penalty goes to the Barbarians, and of course they will always go from situations like that. And here's Joe Rokathoko, Ruan Pienaar.
Play on,
and the ball not secured, so Robbie Dyack goes down on it for Ireland. So poor ball protection by the Barbarians as Owen Redden goes in. Dan Toohey.
Yeah, it was great work by Jamie Heaslip though on the turnover.
Redden. Madigan for Tadhg Furlong, using that 19 stones worth of bulk to make those hard meters. Madigan inside for Chris Henry. Remember Rhys Ruddock coming in for Chris Henry in the morning of that South African game and playing superbly at very short notice. And this time it's the Barbarians through Shane Jennings on the floor who've turned this ball over. Pienaar is off in pursuit, and Alex Cuthbert is after this one as well. But Luke Marshall just has to drop on the ball as the ball beat everybody across the goal line.
Yeah, good work by Jennings in the breakdown just to get that turnover. And Pienaar spots a bit of a gap, the green grass. Surprisingly, he kicked it because he's opted to run a lot of the penalties so far, and Luke Marshall covering back really well.
Good strong carry there by Konstantin Mikotadze, who started for Georgia against Ireland in November, so he's no stranger to these shores, the Toulon second row. Ball shooting off the turf here. There's a skiff of rain now all over Thomond Park here in Limerick, and it's Zane Kirshner, 29 times capped by South Africa. And the referee says he was inside when he kicked that, so the Leinster fullback gets a few decent meters for his team.
And this is exactly what Ireland would want. Take that energy, that enthusiasm, that early energy enthusiasm that the Barbarians had, make them tackle, tire them out a little bit, and you can see, you know, they're puffing a little bit. There's a lot of tackles, there's a lot of breakdowns, and they're starting to kick it. So now Ireland can, you know, hopefully dictate the pace, the tempo.
Heaslip takes that line out ball. It's Luke Marshall. Chris Henry comes in behind him. Noticeable again that it's Shane Jennings in the middle of that, trying to wrestle the ball free, but fails to do so on this occasion. And a high tackle against the Barbarians, so it's another penalty to Ireland. This is the beginning of their World Cup build-up, if you like, this summer anyway. They've got Wales in Cardiff in August. That's on August the 8th. Then 2 games in Dublin against Scotland on the 15th of August, and Wales on the 29th, with a match against England at Twickenham on September the 5th. And then for Joe Schmidt, it's Canada in Cardiff, and the real nitty-gritty stuff begins.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting summer. Everyone's really excited, I think, just you know, especially coming off that Six Nations, that expectation. I think it's a fantastic competition, and something that we're all looking forward to in Ireland here anyway. I think it's interesting. Dean Furey, Tina's mentioned him beforehand in studio. What a live wire. He's stuck to every breakdown, every tackle. Great carrier as well.
Captain Western Province to Currie Cup win, Dean Furey, 3 years ago. Although he hasn't had a particularly happy season, the Barbarians hooker, because he was relegated with Lyon. David Smith tries to get the ball away, does, to win Andolafia. Here's Joe Rokathoko, and now Jimmy Gopperth. Good defence by Richard Strauss on Zane Kirchner. Pienaar, Vosloo to Pienaar, Rokathoko now, trying to build again through David Smith. Just manages to hold on to this really slippery ball now. Vosloo to Holani. The Panasonic Wild Knights. I do love the names of the Japanese league teams. They are the league champions, coached by Robbie Deans. Won that championship in February and shipped on by Nathan Hines. Good work from the second row forward. Here's Cuthbert again. He's looked dangerous. He scored a try already. Nathan Hines of Sale until the end of this season, that is. And off goes Gopperth. He's off to Wasps. Good little chip, and Owen Redden had to sweep across swiftly to prevent Jimmy Gopperth from regathering his own chip, and he could have been away there, Gopperth, if the ball had bounced a little bit more kindly for him. Now it's Madigan to Kirshner. David Smith, little hitch kick, runs into Jamie Heaslip. Here is Pienaar, Gerhard Vosloo, Dion Fourie. You say he's a lively hooker, Fourie, and he's showing it in this game so far. Shane Jennings now looking again for the width. Here's Alex Cuthbert. Cuthbert, 6'6", 16 stones 5 pounds, the Cardiff Blue. Gopperth, and David Smith had his arm in the air on this side, and it nearly worked out for David Smith. That was very close to being extremely inventive play.
Yeah, the idea was good. I think it's back to Gopperth. He looks up straight away, puts the ball across. I think Rob Kearney is, you know, if it bounces up, Smith could be away, but Rob Kearney isn't too far away. Good covering from the Ireland full-back there. And here's the little chip from Gopperth. Redden does that so well. He covers so much ground around the field. Those little lines in behind the defensive line. That's the scrum half's job, and Redden did that really well there to stop Gopperth getting through.
Lads, please.
Diak's line out take, Redden. Pienaar not able to charge that one down. It's David Smith again. Gets away from Dave Carney. He is a really dangerous runner, David Smith. If you've watched the top 14 this season on Sky Sports, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He does have to battle with Drew Mitchell and Brian Abana, though, for the wing shirts. Here is Cuthbert wearing the wing shirt tonight for the Barbarians and doing well. And now Mikutadze, who gets it away to David Smith. And David Smith steps and he hands off to Tui. And here is Shane Jennings. Is he going to get a try on a Baba's shirt? Desperately tries to keep the ball in play, and he does well to do that. Here is Pienaar, Rokothoko, Techerizo. Struggling in the scrummage, but appearing in the loose. And now the knock on. It's an Irish advantage. As Redden gets it back to Luke Marshall, who says, I will put this one into touch for safety.
Well, he's a joy to watch, David Smith. Standing start here, off the left, inside Devon Toner. A big hand off to Dan Tui there. Great feed on him. And
so last penalty.
Chris Henry does really well to get Shane Jennings here to, you know, hold on to him, stop the momentum. Superb work there, David Smith. We can see it here again. He's built like a prop and his pace like a winger. He's incredible power and pace.
You okay, lads? Are we okay? Are we injured?
I watched him this season, one game in particular, Toulon against Bree.
Let's go, lads.
He scored 4 tries, and he was literally that day just unstoppable.
Sorry,
yeah,
mate.
he just has that ability to get hold of the ball, step left, step right. He has a really strong fend, and then the pace to back it up. He's a brilliant player. He's going to be a real capture from somewhere for some club in Europe, or if he's going back to the Southern Hemisphere. He's been released by Toulon because of the quota of overseas players, but a fantastic player. He played here in 2010. I got to know him, play with him. The very minute you see this guy in training, you just see that he's an unbelievable talent.
Crouch.
He's a very ebullient character, isn't he? He's smiley David Smith.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy, and he played sevens for New Zealand. Came on tour to New Zealand with a Samoan schools team and got brought to New Zealand then. But they produced so many players, the South Sea Islands, and he's certainly one of them who certainly would play international rugby if he had those aspirations or if he stayed back home.
I hope he wasn't one of the blokes you kept locked out of your room in 2010. He's far too nice a fella to be denied access. Here is Owen Redden, and in comes Zane Kircher. It feels a little bit at times like a Leinster practice match. There's so many Leinster players all over the park on both teams. Off goes Furry again. He's been a bit of a buzzball already in this match for the Babas. But Ireland win the penalty at the breakdown. And was it Jack McGrath in there this time?
I think it's Rickard Strauss and McGrath there. You know, Strauss is another guy who's trying to get back. He's had his problems with injury as well, and been out of the game. He's really trying to get back and you know, put that pressure on Sean Corrin as well. I think initially the tackle came in, but Jack McGrath over the ball and Strauss there putting in great work at the breakdown there.
Again, two Leinster men working well.
Yeah, I know, because he's coming out.
Strauss at the forefront, and another Leinster man puts the ball into the corner, into a good position here for Ireland.
Yeah, it's a great kick from Madigan, and you know, the question marks that have been around his control, his play. It's a big night for him as well, for obvious reasons. Paddy Jackson has had a really good season for Ulster.
Say more!
Chris Henry
Goes to a fine.
scored against Wales, I remember, from the maul in the Six Nations, the first of Joe Schmidt's Six Nations titles. Owen Redden is looking to rip this ball out here, and Ireland twisting away and turning the ball over. So not for the first time in the game, the maul hasn't quite gelled for Ireland.
Yeah, they've been sloppy there. Simon Easterby will be a bit disappointed with that. You know, Miku Tadze coming up through it there, Vosloo getting their hands in. Jack McGrath has been held on the ground there, you know, pull back toner, but you got to sort that stuff out yourself, get much tighter, get that momentum. Ireland just a little bit loose, and you can see that they haven't been together a lot. You know, it takes a while to develop that maul and make it really strong. We mentioned Madigan there, you know, the pecking order, that's the key behind Sexton. That's what everyone talks about. It's Madigan, Keighley, Jackson. I'm not sure what the pecking order is now, but those three guys, you know, they're fighting for that backup spot with, you know, with Johnny Sexton for World Cup.
And Ian Keighley, he had a bit of a nightmare, but by his standards last weekend here in Limerick in the Pro 12 semi-final against the Ospreys. So a big night for him in the final against Glasgow, Keighley. Yeah,
it's a huge night. You know, he's an undoubted footballer, very, very talented, and it didn't go right for him last week, but that's rugby. You have the opportunity, and he has it this week, so his performance will be analysed by Joe Schmidt this week. He'll certainly be in the mix for the summer training squad, and there's a lot to play for all these guys. It's a massively exciting time for all these players. The frontliners who probably know they're going to be in the squad, they can't take anything for granted, but there's a certain group behind who certainly have a lot to play for.
Oh, Greg Garner is going to the TMO. We think, well, Alan Quinlan is gesturing to me with his knee that maybe a knee has gone into the back here of Miku Tadze. As a foot goes in, and then McGrath drops the knee in to the spine of Miku Tadze. So yeah, it's definitely worth another look here for the TMO Dermot Maloney.
Sorry, what am I watching that?
Yeah, Madigan, you know, he's in the wrong side.
You're looking at number 1.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. No, it doesn't.
What
look
about number
good.
10?
Number 10.
We had the incident in the Six Nations when Pascal Pappy dropped the knee in on Jamie Hazlett. We saw something similar actually in the European Challenge Cup final when Fraser McKenzie had the knee dropped on his back in that final.
And number 1,
yeah, that just doesn't look good for Jack McGrath at all.
So what are you saying here? You're saying it's a yellow card against number 1?
Yes, yellow card, number 1 green.
Swings the knee into him, he more drops down on him.
He's got him.
So it's
number 1.
It's probably yellow, but he's.
You got him with the knee.
It doesn't look great.
Yeah, and it's a yellow card for Jack McGrath, who was suspended this season for an incident involving Rory Best. You remember in the Leinster-Ulster game in the Pro 12.
A little bit of frustration there. Miku Tadze is, you know, comes down the maul, stops the ball from coming back and holds it up, and he can't do that. It's certainly that, you know, a little bit risky for him because you don't want to get yourself into trouble with Joe Schmidt, with the citing commissioner, and pick up a suspension for himself. He's had a great season, Jack McGrath.
Can you come, lads, please?
Yeah, discipline critical in a World Cup. Of course, Stuart Lancaster's got a decision to make potentially about Dylan Hartley. Does he take him to the World Cup or not after his 4-week suspension for putting the head into Jamie George in the Aviva Premiership? semi-final, and that movement breaks down from the Barbarians.
Yeah, it's good defence, good cover. Colm O'Shea holds on, and he's had Rockethoko running at him a lot. It's a big test for him tonight. Gets caught on a little bit of a wedge tackle. Rockethoko on the outside and Cuthbert on the outside there, but good defence, good cover from Ireland.
A little bit of a flap there from Tui, which puts Redden under a bit of pressure, so they're on the back foot here, rocking on their heels, Ireland. Jimmy Heaslip tries to get them moving forward. Redden to tag Furlong. Dion Fury's playing like a man who's looking for a contract from a club that isn't in Pro D2 after Lyon were relegated. I'm not quite sure what his contract status is, Dion Fury. And it's Ian Madigan who pushes the ball through, and it just about stays in play before it squirts into touch off this wet surface.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He looks like he'd remind you a little bit of Schalk Brits, who's involved with the Barbarian squad as well, the Saracens, South African. Just unbelievably energetic, great carrier, you know, making tackles, bouncing around the place, and he'd be a good signing for someone. You know, is he going to be released? Has he an opt-out clause in his contract that Lyon are now gone down?
Nathan Hines takes that line-out ball. Here's Jimmy Gopperth, takes it to the gain line.
7.
Something Leinster fans have admired
In
his 2 seasons there. Joe Rockethoko, what an angle from the All Black, hammering in from that 13 position.
7 release.
But Ireland again doing some really good work in there.
7.
The breakdown. Robbie Dyack on this occasion.
Yeah, it's a great line from Rockethoko, running really hard at the, you know, back in the angle. It's always difficult because you're looking up in the fence. Toner just hangs on, forces the offload. Madigan's in a good position, covering back inside. And you know, I mentioned Toner, he's so good at that, making those tackles, wrapping guys up around the fringes, and did really well there to stop Rockethoko. You can just never switch off in defence with these guys, with Smith, Rockethoko, even Cuthbert. You know, they have that cutting edge, they have that ability to run at both sides of you defensively.
Great take in the lineup by Toner, lovely athleticism. Now it's Jamie Heaslip, 72 times, capped by Ireland, 9 times as captain, and captain tonight of this Ireland 15. This is a non-cap game. Dyack. Redden for Ian Madigan. Now Rob Carney, his brother outside him. David Smith defends. Ireland pile in. Colm O'Shea cleared out brilliantly. Joe Schmidt loves his backs to do things like that. That's the sort of detail he looks for, the Ireland coach. Now Madigan, and 2 tacklers meet him head on. Redden to Chris Henry, and Joe Rockethoko saying we need a bit of help out here, folks, and they're going to get some help from the referee, Greg Garner.
Left corner, left corner, left corner.
Left corner, I can hear the shout from here, and Ruan Pienaar went for it. And that was a very fine kick from the Springbok. Back there goes Dave Carney, and he's in Mug's corner. Rob Carney, the bro, the former European Player of the Year, gets us up to halfway.
That's a good kick from Carney. Dave Carney spotted it there from the, you know, from the quick penalty, but Madigan takes a big hit there from Techerito. And we can see Pienaar here looking for the grass. Great cover from both the Carney brothers there. You know, Dave, before it goes into touch, gets back, puts it to, you know, his brother Rob, who makes a good touchline clearance under pressure.
Ian Madigan looks on as Richard Strauss receives some treatment. Rory Best would be the number 1, number 2, but Richard Strauss will be certainly chasing a spot in the World Cup squad. The initial squad will be announced in the middle of June sometime. Ireland's training camps are in Cork and Galway, and then the final squad of 31 obviously much closer to World Cup time.
I tell you, it's cranking up a little bit, the aggression levels around the fringes there. You can see the clean-outs, guys are getting a bit frustrated, piling in, starting to put in those big shots.
Dion Fury's had a busy first half, and Robbie Dyack gets his hand in there, steals the line-out ball. Now Madigan, nice pass for Luke Marshall. Now Rob Carney in the line.
Not held.
Ireland getting a little bit of flow going there. Now tag Furlong. But again, the Barbarians' defence, to be fair to them, is pretty ferocious. They're very committed out there, and they've turned the ball over again. Here's Pienaar to Vinand Olafia, 30 times cap, 38 times cap by the Springboks.
Jennings with the turnover.
Here's Rokothoko, Craig Gilroy, the try scorer for Ireland. Tackles the wonderful All Black. Pienaar again. Not afraid to use the forwards to build a platform. Here's Gopperth. And Ireland up very fiercely on the line there through Luke Marshall, but they've recycled the Babas. And here's Gerhard Vosloo, former South African junior wrestling champion, with the biggest set of guns I've ever seen on a back row forward since Alan Quinlan retired.
They're telling lies there. Chris Henry, superb turnover, gets in, really strong position. You know, he's moved around really well, Chris Henry, a guy who hasn't played a lot of rugby. There's a lot of pace to this game. And he's done really well so far. Gets the breakdown. There seems to be a lot of space in the outside channels now.
It's quite noticeable how many different Irish players have turned ball over.
Yeah, Vosloo making the carry here, and Henry gets into that really strong position. He has that great upper body strength, really low centre of gravity as well. Gets his hand in there, and then, you know, this is happening with the Barbarians. They're getting a little bit tired out in the outside channels about cleaning out their own possession, and that's where Ireland have profited so far.
It's Irish players who've turned the ball over. Shane Jennings doing that job very well indeed for the Barbarians. Down to it, here's Owen Redden, and it's Collie O'Shea. Again, Ireland struggling for a quick ball, and again the Barbarians getting in there and jackling with, again, tremendous ferocity at the breakdown. It was a Dion Fury yet again.
And that'll drive Joe Schmidt mad. It's you know, really good carry from Collie O'Shea. Looked good clean out, taking the line out from Dan Toohey. Chris Henry peeling off, and great momentum going forward, and to turn a ball over like that will be really frustrating. It's good work from Fareed. Fantastic body position, but there's a great target there. You don't want your scrum half having to clean out a guy there. Just too many Irish players standing off.
I mean, Barbarians rugby is noted, you know, for the ball flashing around the pitch. What we've seen today, actually quite noticeably, is some fantastic defensive work from both sides at the breakdown.
Yeah, well, they're really competitive. They're not giving anything up there. You know, fighting for their lives, trying to win the ball, turn ball over.
Olafia. South Africa out of Montpellier. David Smith out of Toulon. Pienaar. It's Halani, the Japanese international, number 8. Jimmy Gopperth, loose pass. Was a knock on by Alex Cuthbert to Shane Jennings, and Jennings, what a shame. He would have had a 50-metre canter there, the retiring Leinster and Ireland flanker.
I think he was pretty relieved in the end. It was knocked on there because Rob Carney was hovering.
Yeah, it's number 6 is being replaced because of the prop. So number 6 has got to go off, so we've got to get a prop on.
Just pops up in front of Cuthbert there. Tetcherita didn't want the ball there, and you can see what Gopperth was trying to do. He's trying to put width on every single pass. He's looking for runners to come off.
Well, Robbie Dyack has to go off because Jack McGrath's in the bin. So Michael Bent is in the front row for this final scrummage of this first half.
It's not your typical Barbarians scoreline.
Bind.
Not yet. Be patient.
Set.
Give it time. Redden feeds. And the scrum just concertinas there, and Ireland, it's going to be a yellow card. We talked about this.
Number 1, you've come out the scrum.
We talked about this 15,
Number 1, you've come out the scrum.
20 minutes ago, Alan, that maybe Greg Garner would have to look at a yellow card in the front row. And it's
Number
the very
1's come out the
inexperienced
scrum.
Tetcherito, inevitably, who is the man who gets that yellow. As Ireland go with a penalty, and here is Chris Henry. Owen Redden comes in there. Michael Bent gets his first touch, and it's picked off.
Play up. Play up.
And it's now Adam Jones in possession. Another advantage, knock-ons all over the place, and that will be the last act of this first half from the Irish captain Jamie Heaslip. It has not been the glittering extravaganza that we so often see in Barbarians games, but it has been incredibly competitive, and the half-time score is the Barbarians 5, Ireland sneaking ahead 7. Michael, there is little rest for those who wish to be wicked when the battle for the William Webb Ellis Trophy gets underway. Here goes Dave Carney, and Ireland leading by 7 points to 5 after that first half. Tries from 2 wingers. Alex Cuthbert first.
19, get your feet off the ball.
I was going to say Cardiff there for the Barbarians. He plays for Cardiff, and Craig Gilroy, the Ulsterman, scoring for Ireland. Tui to Madigan. That's Collie O'Shea. Nice pass from O'Shea to Craig Gilroy, but he's well covered there by Olafia. Redden, and Dion Fury was up really sharpishly out of the defensive line again there. Here's Redden for Madigan, little chip for Heaslip to chase. Rokothoko palms it away to Pinar. That was a little bit barbarian from Rokothoko, and now David Smith, who's been excellent in this game so far. Really industrious. Pinar, Shane Jennings. Pinar again to Jimmy Gopperth, Rokothoko, and that didn't quite work. Luke Marshall read it well, came in quickly, closed down the space, closed down his man. Pinar. He said it was the most painful defeat of his Ulster career. Rian Pinar, that semi-final loss to Glasgow. Rokothoko to David Smith, and that was excellent stuff again from Rokothoko, trying to release his fellow New Zealander on the wide outside.
Yeah, brilliant hands from Rokothoko there. It's just all the time. Look, you can see the quick hands, that incredible talent, that ability, that skill set that they, you know, he's a New Zealand international but born in Fiji, and that's something that just comes natural to him. Outstanding work. Pinar's been really good too, you know, bouncing off the side of rucks, getting out with the ball really quick, and
4, is it?
David Smith nearly gets away there.
Hold on. Right,
Luke
lads,
Marshall
don't
does really well.
4.
And Nathan Hines takes the ball. Well taken too by the great man of Wagga Wagga. Scottish international, Olafia, David Smith, now Rokothoko just floats it to the numberless Zane Kirshner. Brilliant by Kirshner. Is it going to bounce for the Springbok? That is classy. Barbarians rugby. Smooth moves all the way.
Outstanding from Kirshner to get that pace out to the width again, and you know, he comes off the right. Great width from the Barbarians. We see it here, and it's the pass behind to Olafia. David Smith, those hands, gets back inside Madigan. Looks like there's numbers there in defence. He has Pinar on the inside, but chooses to put in the chip. Great step there off the right. You just can't beat that footwork. And we haven't seen enough of that from a Leinster point of view. I'm sure this year Leinster people will say that. Enough of his talent. You know, he was fantastic international for South Africa. Comes to Leinster, and that's the type of player that they would have wanted to get those scores more consistently. Great work from Kirshner.
He did fire on the Pro 12 final last season against Glasgow. 2 tries from Kirshner. And it's another Leinster man looking to add the extra 2. And a good strike from Gopper. Typical punchy style from the New Zealander, former junior World Cup winner. Maybe I should remind you at this point, as we watch Kirshner running backwards just about as quickly as he ran forwards there. What a chip that was. And the bounce was delicious. But this is the 4th Ireland Babas meeting in Ireland, and Ireland have never won.
It's open play.
And they're losing here again. Here's Heaslip into Vosloo. He tries to get over the ball, just rides the drive from Heaslip. Luke Marshall, up comes Rokothoko. Good. You can tell Rokothoko's been playing in the centre a fair bit this season. Madigan, I think, is that Madigan who's gone down? Doesn't look too healthy in the middle of the pitch here as play goes on.
Tackle!
Michael Bent carries. There is Madigan. Maybe he's just winded. Chris Henry. Tackled by Halani, the Japanese international. And the penalty comes to Ireland. And here goes Owen Redden very quickly. Dave Carney picks it up. And then he's picked up by Winandola Fia. Dan Tui. They're short of an out half at the moment because Madigan is still down. And again, Ireland's looseness at times here continues. Just failing to get those structures knitting together for Ireland, which will frustrate all involved.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we said at the start of the first half. The Barbarians come out, moving the ball around, getting that momentum go forward, and Ireland kind of buying into it a little bit there. They've got to engage them around the fringes. They're very, very strong in defence. You've got to make them tackle. We see the defensive line. It's coming up really hard here. And that's a late hit from Jennings, his teammate.
Do we need a prop? Need a prop?
You can see it here again well after Madigan passes the ball.
From who?
Yeah, Leinster man on Leinster man. Joe Schmidt won't be too impressed with that.
Well, I'm surprised they're not going back to have a look at it. It's very, very late. You know, he's totally blindsided there, and you can see the neck, even the head shaking a little bit. It's not sure there was any need for that.
Substitution for Barbarians,
Timopio comes on. Remember, there was a yellow card at the end of the first half. Roberto Techerizzo, they took him in loose head. He was yellow carded for persistent infringement at the scrum. So on comes the 3 times capped All Black, Siamoni Timopio, very experienced, 35 years of age. He won the top 14 with Castra. A man who knows what he's about in the front row. David Smith, he certainly knows what he's about with ball in hand. Vosloo carries. Good work by Vosloo, gets those extra few metres. Rokathoko, little pirouette from him. He's been a real focal point, Rokathoko, as we expected he might be. Miku Tadzi carries. Pinar Rokathoko once more.
Tackle!
Nathan Hines offloads to Adam Jones. Good work from the Scotsman and the Welshman. Olafia brought down by Tag Furlong. Good tackle by the Leinster tight head. And looked like another late tackle in there as well in the middle of the park. Quite a few of those in this game. Now it's Cuthbert. Pinar, again Ireland coming up really quickly in that defensive line through Dave Carney. Bit of a spot blitz from him.
Tackle!
Pinar, Miku Tadzi. Great run from him. And again, he gets those metres, doesn't he? Rokathoko sets it for Pinar. Here is Gopperth. One of those classic right-footed steps away from the defence there from Gopperth. Now it's Cuthbert. Jimmy Heaslip makes the tackle. Dion Fury, one of the outstanding Barbarians forwards so far in this game, and Ireland go back and cover that again through Owen Redden, who does sweep so efficiently no matter what colour of jersey he's wearing.
Yeah, speculative little kick there from Vosloo, but great ball presentation. You can see the kick here, it's probably not on. You know, in a more serious cup game, he probably doesn't try that, but you know, great presentation from the Barbarians. Pinar's running up to every ruck. Great clean outs there, and they've certainly improved their breakdown work.
Pinar passes to
Backwards.
Nathan Hines, and Timopio fails to control, and here come Ireland. It's Jimmy Copperth's turn to do the sweeping, and he's found Zane Kirshner. They're looking to play here from deep inside their own half as Ireland go in with an Irish choke tackle, which has become one of their trademarks.
There was some more before he got his
Yeah,
knees
good
on the
pressure. Carney hacks the ball through there, and you know, great work rate from all the Irish players there to get through just a little bit of timing there, overrunning the pass, and Rokothoko, who's been first receiver for, you know, a lot of their phase play. Kirshner here probably, you know, probably kicks in another type of game, but great work from Ireland there to hold him up and get the turnover. They need to get hold of the ball again, control the tempo, get some runners around the fringes and build some phases, because Ireland will be quite static tonight. They've just passes a little bit behind the shoulder, not running onto the ball, and they've made it easy at times for the Barbarians to defend against them. Their set piece has been good.
I haven't got any.
Shane Jennings, the Barbarians captain tonight. It would have been lovely to see Peter Stringer tonight playing scrum half for the Baa-Baas, but Peter Stringer will probably be otherwise engaged this weekend in a Bath shirt in the final of the Aviva Premiership against Saracens. And I see young Strings, an old teammate of yours, aside yet another contract.
Yeah, it's a great story. I think, you know, I see him out in the field again last week, just zipping the ball out of the breakdowns and, you know, off the base of the ruck. He's been fantastic. What a career. He's 38 now and he's signed for another year, keeps himself in great shape, and hopefully he can have success on Saturday with Bath.
Yeah, sorry,
New diet.
Sorry to all the Saracens fans listening,
well,
but
too bad.
I'll be rooting for Bath because of Strings.
He seems to be the ideal man for that back line as well, doesn't he? Gets the ball so quickly to George Ford, something that Ronan O'Gara benefited from for many long years.
What an out half, Joe Ford. He's been fantastic to have him outside him.
Now, enough of the nostalgia, back to the present. And here is Jamie Heaslip and Owen Redden for Ian Madigan against in behind. Madigan makes it easy for the defence to attack. Redden, Toner backs into the challenge from Gerhard Vosloo, formerly of Clermont-Auvergne, now of Toulon. Here's Chris Henry.
6
months out with that heart condition, came back last month for Ulster, probably ahead of schedule for Chris Henry. Here is Madigan and drops the ball, so it's Olafia for Rokothoko, and David Smith was pointing forward. He said, kick it into my path and I'll chase it, and they're still chasing the Baa-Baas. It's Dave Carney who rescues the men in green.
Use it.
Redden. Luke Marshall after that, and he actually, I think it came off his forearm, knocked it forward. The Ulster centre should be interesting. The centre selections for the World Cup. Keith Hurls has got to be in with a shout now, doesn't he, Alan?
Yeah, he's back playing really well for Munster. He looks sharp, and the last couple of months, you know, there's a lot of struggles with injuries. There's so many guys you could talk about. Henshaw and Payne have done, you know, they did really well in November and again in the Six Nations. You know, so there's a lot of competition when you think about Driscoll and Darcy. You know, the way they controlled and performed in that 12-13 jersey for so long was a, you know, a hard act to follow. But Earls is someone certainly who's, you know, has that X factor, and he's been playing really well for Munster, and he's a great opportunity
Let's get
again.
last format, please.
Paddy Jackson on.
Okay.
At 10, who's been playing very well for Ulster. A player who has matured rapidly, and Drew and Pienaar was saying that this week.
Yeah, okay.
In praise of his fellow halfback at Ulster.
Set.
Yeah, he's had a great season, and dislocated elbow in against Toulon in round 5, and out for 11 weeks. He's come back, he's looked really sharp and controlled.
Here is David Smith. Immediately coming into the action was Paddy Jackson, but it was defensively. He made the tackle there. Joe Rokothoko with a little dummy pass, and here is Alex Cuthbert's sleight of hand. O'Shea goes in to try and work the turnover for Ireland, and away go the Barbarians quickly again. George Smith is on. The Wallaby legend, 111 caps for Australia.
Unbelievable, isn't it? 111 caps and still going strong. What a great player.
Now Vosloo outside, David Smith on his shoulder. And Jimmy Gopperth is signalling for the cross kick here. There's 3 of them out there. 3 Baa-Baas. Mickey Tatsy was one of them. Great take by Rob Carney. And many times has Rob Carney been forced into doing that as well as that.
Yeah, great position. He sees it coming here, Carney, and he's brilliant in the air. Gets a big hit from Mikutadze there, big strong Georgian. You can see Carney, very, very strong, powerful catch there.
Off goes George Smith.
Play on.
And this is his 6th appearance for the Barbarians for George Smith. Another player who's been playing for Lyon this season, relegated alongside Dion Fury, the Barbarians hooker. But he's off to Wasps next season as George Smith. Interesting signing.
Eight off your
Remember
feet
when
now.
Wasps signed Serge
You're off your
Betson?
feet.
Seems to be a similar
Off your feet, then
kind
you
of
play that.
acquisition for the Wasps. Penalty to the Barbarians right in front of the post with a 12-7 lead. Interesting decision here to be made. The captain is being consulted and he's thinking about it and chittering away, and he's pointing to the post.
Ooh, that'll be greeted with some boos, I think. Not from the Barbarians.
Maybe Shane needs a rest. He's in his 30s now, poor lad.
I think they all need a rest. Great pace to the game there, and the Barbarians have owned the ball for the last 10 minutes. They've moved Ireland around, held on to possession really well, and Pienaar is just, he's bouncing out of those breakdowns, giving great ball back to the Barbarians backline. And Rockethoko, again, we see great hands from him there, and if they keep allowing this kind of momentum, that's what the Barbarians will want, and they're very, very dangerous when they have that.
So Jimmy Gopperth, who has scored, would you believe, over 2,000 points for the 5 clubs he's represented, extends the Barbarians' lead, giving Ireland with a bit of work to do. Jordy Murphy now comes on for Ireland. Robbie Dyack, I think, is going off, and on comes Rob Herring, one of those players who's in that emerging Ireland squad that goes to Tbilisi in June.
Backwards, play on. Play on.
Notice Rhys Ruddock's on that tour, so he'll want to impress there. He could certainly yet force his way into the World Cup squad. He's been out with a broken arm, Rhys Ruddock, and difficult ball to deal with. And here, almost comes an Irish try, but not quite.
And that's the kind of pressure Ireland need to put on. They need to force the Barbarians back. You are going to get the ball thrown around. Jackson gets through. Good pressure in defence, but Rockethoko gets back, gets the hand down.
Well played, Joe. Here's Adam Jones. There was some talk tonight that he may try a drop goal attempt as he did for Cardiff against Munster this season, but Adam Jones first of all has got to get himself into the right position to try a drop goal for the Cardiff.
Yeah, we'll never forget that night in Cardiff. We did the game. I think everyone was in shock, including himself. He doesn't put himself in position here tonight yet, but
Joe Rockethoko trying that spectacular flick through the legs.
Well,
Yes, he had a great giggle after that, didn't he, Adam Jones, as the ball actually didn't miss by that much. It wasn't a bad effort.
We mentioned Rockethoko a lot though as well, and he's another guy who Bayonne have been relegated from the top 14. Someone looking for a club as well, so there's a couple of guys out here and they're kind of playing for in the shop window, if you like, looking to secure future deals for themselves. And what a talent, what a signing for some club. David Smith, Rockethoko, Olafia in the centre as well. There's 3 world-class players there available, and possibly moving somewhere else in Europe or back to the Southern Hemisphere.
Olafia's club Montpellier, coached by Jake White these days, or Jacques Blanc as he should be known, being a French coach. He's let 19 players go from that squad. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. They're challenging for the top 14 2 years ago, and Galtier, struggled. He stayed with him for, through a lot of that adversity, if you like, and Jake White has come in and really, he's just culled the whole squad, really. Complete change there.
9 behind the ball.
So Redden, little snipe on that blind side. The hand comes in from Shane Jennings. He'll know all about Owen Redden's blindside sorties. Paddy Jackson then. No, little driller into the corner and putting Ireland into a good position. Can they get this maul to function? That's the question.
Well, I'm not sure. I'd love to see him take the ball off the top
So
and try and,
only the
you know,
play with
try
the
and
ball.
get Colm O'Shea. Madigan's in the centre now at 12, and just try and get that midfield over the game line.
Miku Tadzi goes swimming over the top, hauling players all over the place, as Georgians are inclined to do with their great natural strength. There's Madigan. And the referee, Greg Garner, was playing a penalty advantage there. Off goes Redden. Looks for support from Rob Herring, who is absolutely hammered there. I think that was George Smith who made the tackle. And here comes David Smith. Tries to hack it away, and it just ricochets away into touch. But there's still some very, very physical hits going in out there.
Yeah, that's a huge hit from George Smith and from Rob Herring. Coming back on the switch. Yeah, it's shoulder into the head. He does have the arm out, so it's not illegal, but massive hit, and he has that ability to make the hit and get his feet in there. Then, you know, Smith is, he's so good at this, that turnover. He was the master of that before McCaw, just getting in over the ball for years, and that's what made him such a great player. He can still do that. Let's hope Rob Herring is okay. He knows big collision there.
He knows all about George Smith now. Does Rob Herring? Only George Gregan or Nathan Sharp have more caps for the Wallabies than George Smith. He's actually won 4 times in a Baba shirt, George Smith, and he played in that game in Limerick in 2010 that you played in, Alan. He also scored a try that time, but Rob Herring not looking too good after that crunching hit. So Rickard Strauss comes back on.
Yeah, I think Redden, when they get the penalty there, he's got to put it into the corner. I think Ireland, you know, you don't need to be running penalties 10 yards out there. I can understand what he's trying to do, pick up the pace, but Ireland need to, you know, need to engage this barbarian team. They're just not making them tackle and getting them off their feet.
Never line out. Fury and Pinar working together. Now Shane Jennings. Gopperth. Little dinky one, but dinked a little bit too far for anybody. This is the 9th Barbarians game against Irish teams. 4 of them have been decided by just the 1 point. 2 club sides, Old Wesley and Clontarf, won by a point, as did the Barbarians twice against Ireland 15s. And it's pretty close out there again this evening. The Barbarians looking to continue their great record against Irish sides.
Yeah, went straight. Yeah, so it's carried back. Yeah, carried back. Just give it, let him form. No, because you carried back.
Ball was carried back there. So I can get the line out from there, and here's Devon Toner, Geordie Murphy. Six Nations starts for him this season, Geordie Murphy, another Leinster man. And here is Redden for Murphy, inside ball for Carney, and Adam Jones saw that one coming and made the tackle on the Lions fullback of 2009. Paddy Jackson's chip forward, across comes Zane Kirshner, and he's just shepherded away into touch by his provincial teammate.
They just can't seem to, you know, create that overlap. Ireland there, you know, trying to get over the gain line. They're getting hit. George Smith comes out of the line, hits Geordie Murphy, just a little bit static again, and they're just able to number up the Barbarians. We see it here. There's 4 or 5 defenders forcing Jackson to put in the kick. Great defensive read from Adam Jones there. You know, Carney coming back on the inside line. He gets a good send-off, Rockethoko, and Munster people will remember him here from you know, a couple of years ago when they looked like they'd beaten New Zealand, and he gets that late try in 79 minutes and broke everyone's hearts here.
I remember it well, Joe Rockethoko, New Zealand against Munster in the corner. That was the night that the New Zealand men of the Munster team did the haka in front of the All Blacks. Dougie Howlett, Jeremy Manning, Ruatapoki, Lafini Mafi, if I remember correctly. Quite a sight. But Rockethoko spoiled their night.
What? No, 19!
Making a bit of progress and being penalised again. Here are the Barbarians as Ireland at last get over the line, and the man rumbling at the front of it all was the man on his comeback in an Irish shirt, after his heart condition. What a way to celebrate it, Chris Henry.
Yeah, good patience there from Ireland. Henry at the end of it, and that's a nice reward for him. He's done well tonight. You can see them all here, and the Barbarians are coming in from all sides, and I don't think Garner's reffed them all really well tonight. They've come in illegally from, you know, various different angles, and he's warning them there, but they kept their patience, body position much lower, and Simon Easter will be very pleased with that. And you know, good score in the end. They break off a little bit at the side here, and Henry gets the reward at the end of it. How competitive is that back row position, you know, with O'Donnell, O'Mahony, Sean O'Brien out. So many back row players to come back into the mix, and it's great to see Henry back. He's done really well tonight.
And the multi-dimensional Donncha Ryan as well, who can play back row and second row.
Yeah, Henderson as well. You know, guys similar who can cover second row, back row. There's a huge amount of depth there. Reece Ruddock, you mentioned him. There's Jack Conan in Leinster. You know, there's so many guys.
Apologies there to anybody we've left out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're forgetting guys. There's so many back rows, loose forwards, second rows available.
Well, just 1 point in it, and that's been a favourite scoreline in meetings between the Barbarians and Ireland 15s, 1 point margins. Looks like it's going to be every bit as tight again. Gio Aplon plays his rugby at Grenoble. He's coached by Bernard Jackman. Bernard Jackman very relieved that his team stayed up in the top 14. They managed to secure their place in the top league by getting a losing bonus point at Lyon on the last day. Bernard was rather happy with it.
Yeah, I think it was squeaky bum time last week. I spoke to Mike Prendergast. You know, a couple of months ago they looked like they're challenging for the Champions Cup, and they ended up the last couple of weekends, which is, it's so competitive, so tight over there that they just barely hung on, which is fantastic for them. I spoke to Mike Prendergast today. He was out in the Barbarians Hotel bumming tickets off Gio Aplon for this match. So, but it's good to see the two Irish coaches there who've done really well in France to first of all break into that mould, but to stay up, and it's nice to see they're doing well there.
Here's Heaslip.
Dare we forget our friend O'Gara in Racing Metro. A lot of good coaches, Irish coaches in France. Jeremy Davidson is there as well.
He's at Aurillac now, Jeremy Davidson. Now here is Dave Carney. And again, the Barbarians putting plenty of pressure on defensively, not giving Ireland any room at all here. Rob Carney straight down the spine of the field to the danger man, Dave Smith, and Gio Aplon just about takes it. In fact, did very well to hang on to the ball, the Springbok, but Ireland, I thought they were going to turn that one over, but Greg Garner says not, rolling away, and now it's George Smith. Paddy Jackson for Ireland. Is he going to explore an avenue of escape here for this Irish team? He is, through Dave Carney. Now it's Ian Madigan.
No,
Big Mike Ross is off the bench.
No.
Now Jackson. David Smith has Gio Aplon in support. Diminutive Springbok, 5'9", 12 stone 4 pounds. Using every bit of that weight to get forward and set the ball. Ireland then come in from the side, so that's 2 penalties in rapid succession given away. Joe Schmidt demands a low penalty count from his teams. Yeah,
that's something he'll definitely look back on, just that discipline, and you know, he'll give them a little bit of leeway that they've only come together, but there's certainly a standard, and you know, we've heard about the situation where he looks back on training that penalties weren't given that potentially could have been given as penalties, and you know, takes his team through that stuff. But look, it's a bit of a disjointed second half performance from Ireland, and there'll be disappointment there, but certainly the discipline is something that needs to be will be looked at next week in the video or when they meet up again.
Is it true that if you give away a penalty in a game after the match, Joe Schmidt gives you a Chinese burn?
I'm not sure about the Chinese burn, but you could find yourself dropped pretty quickly if you don't live up to, you know, the high standard, and discipline is something that's, you know, vital for Ireland. They're very low penalty count always. In any game they win, their penalty count is really, really low.
Gio Aplon takes it on well too now. David Smith been a real handful tonight for this Irish defence. Pinar. There it is, Ruan. He's going down that big blind side again. It's Miku Tadzi's worked really hard tonight, the Georgian, in the second row. And he's made some big meters as well too. Here's Fury, and there's been a knock forward in there. Ireland against the Barbarians tonight, and it's England against the Barbarians on Sunday. That's live on Sky Sports. Looking forward to that. There's the potential of a back line for England as we watch the knock forward again of Danny Cipriani, Henry Slade, Elliot Daly, Christian Wade, Marland, Yard.
Yeah, there's a lot of pace there, there's no doubt about it. We're talking about some depth coming into the Irish squad, but you know, England have got incredible depth in their team, and that's the start of their preparations as well for, you know, for World Cup, and most teams are starting their preparation. Even though it's the end of the season, there will be some holiday period, but it's going to be different. The 3 or 4 weeks that a player will have off, if he's in that World Cup reckoning, there'll be a program given to all the players, and you won't be letting yourself go as an individual this time, because you know, all the respective coaches will want their players coming back, hitting the ground running, and not, you know, taking a step forward into that fitness and straight into the rugby and those preparations for World Cup.
England, after the Babas, they join the Mile High Club in a rugby sense, with a 2-week camp in the Rockies in Denver at Glendale. Then they go to Vail, a little bit higher up in the Rockies, for some altitude stuff, or more altitude stuff. So that'll be interesting. A fortnight in total they're spending out in Denver, England.
No knock on.
Oh, it's a poor pass. Luke McGrath is on at scrum half for Owen Redden. Launches that a long way downfield there. There's Ian Madigan. Aplon looks up, sees a whole line of green defenders, and one of the tacklers coming in there was Ben Marshall, who's just signed for Connacht from Leinster. A really good prospect is Ben Marshall.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a guy, really young prospect who's didn't get many chances under Matt O'Connor in Leinster, and he's had a few injuries as well, but a good signing for Connacht, a good young player as well.
Robbie Dean's there, Panasonic Wild Knights. He's coaching in Japan at the moment. They've got some great names down there. Toyota Industries Shuttles and the Chugoko Electric Power Company. I think it'll ever catch on in Ireland. What about Kentucky Fried Munster?
Right, that's over.
Ben Marshall, good line out take from him. Polly O'Shea enjoying his run out for Ireland tonight. This will have been a really big occasion for him.
Yeah, he's done well. He's been up against some world-class players, and it's interesting to see Luke McGrath is on as well. Superb player, great pace, great little zip around the place. He bounces around, you know, quick delivery. Really exciting player for Leinster as well.
Not surprised Dion Fury's got cramp. He's done a fair bit of running tonight.
Yeah, very competitive. You know, he's been fantastic. Made a lot of tackles and really competitive at the breakdown.
He was on his feet.
Water boy Ugo Monye.
Yeah, another guy calling it a day. Does you know, he's had a great career. Unbelievable pace.
Okay, you ready, lads?
Really successful spell with England, Harlequins, and a good guy as well. Very popular amongst his fellow pros. I think he'll be getting his run on Sunday against the English boys.
Great try scored on a Harlequin shirt. Craig Gilroy and Chris Henry, the try scorers tonight so far for Ireland. The top try scorer in Barbarians history is an Irishman, 38 tries and 30 appearances, Tony O'Reilly. Jimmy Gopperth for Alex Cuthbert, who scored the first try of this game for the Babas very early on. George Smith looked for the offload, but there's nobody there. Miku Tadzi. Vosloo gets the offload by David Smith. Brilliant stuff. Miku Tadzi, nice hands. Ian Kirshner is signalling for a kick here. If somebody can get themselves into a position to find Kirshner, he still wants it, but there's plenty of Irish defenders over here though. Well, he's going to give it to him as Pinar. Oh, goes Ian Kirshner. He gets it at last. In comes Rob Kearney. His way was blocked by Craig Gilroy. Stood his ground. Madigan. And it's getting rather frenzied, this game, as we approach the closing stages. Ireland, of course, losing to the Barbarians as they have done before by tight margins. They need to find something from somewhere.
No tackle now, Ireland! Ball's there.
Surprise, surprise, turnover from Furey again.
It's been outstanding. Here's Nathan Hines. Flops forward, and a try here could finish off Ireland. Cuthbert just slipped, I think, there, couldn't get any purchase. Now Furey, if anyone deserves a try, it's that man, the South African. And they're lining up here. They're forming a little bit of a crocodile, the Barbarians. Luke McGrath tried to turn it over in there, but just wasn't able to get his hands on the ball. Ruin Pinar as Jimmy Gobberth now standing on the wing. George Smith, and here's Aplon, and Aplon comes driving in at pace there. Now Ruin Pinar for Nathan Hines, and there's a chance here for Jimmy Gobberth. Can he use those magic feet and strength to get over? Ireland do well to get back and hold up the Leinster Wasps bound out half. Need to recycle the ball here, the Babas. And the referee is giving them time to do that as they try to sneak round the fringes.
Not inside.
And they still attempt that route. Gobberth is there. David Smith. And it's Vosloo who cuts a hard line on angle, the Toulon beast. Trying to use those oversized biceps close to that whitewash. Barbarians about to kill off Ireland here, are they? Well, Alex Cuthbert is taking the plaudits from his teammates here, and they were beaverish close to that line, and after all that exhausting work, they eventually get it down, and that might just be enough to beat Ireland here in Limerick.
Yeah, it comes off a huge amount of pressure there, the Barbarians holding on to possession, and you know, on occasions they looked like they were in there with Gobberth, and you know, they showed that patience, good defence from Ireland to get across, and you can't see Cuthbert, he's on the other side there, he's hovering around the back, and Adam Jones clean out and just gets in under Mike Ross there, stretches out, we can't see the touchdown. You can see him on the back behind Adam Jones there.
Oh, he's a big boy, isn't he?
Yeah,
Cuthbert?
just gets the hands in there.
The 6'6" and 16 stones, 5 pounds, came to some use there.
Yeah, it has. They've been very impressive the last, 5-7 minutes. Barbarians, they've been putting huge pressure on Ireland. George Smith getting his hands on the ball so much. Furey, Vosloo making those good carries as well, just getting over the gain line.
Jimmy Gobberth has got it. I bet Leinster fans wish the drop goal attempt he had an extra time against Toulon in the semi-final of the Champions Cup had done that. And Leinster might have been through, probably would have been through indeed, to a Champions Cup final. So up goes Devon Toner, and he's knocked the ball on. The scoreline 22 points to 14. So it's an 8-point margin. They've got to somehow find a way to score a converted try and a penalty or a drop goal now, Ireland, inside the closing stanza of this game. Rob Kearney. Gio Aplon, and they're not running now from in their own half, the Barbarians. They're playing safe, making Ireland attack from deep through Ian Madigan. Gio Aplon tackles, and now it's the Barbarians' turn to do some mauling in there and hold Ireland off the ground.
His knee was on the ground,
but there was a knee on the ground there, so that means it's a penalty for this Irish team.
Called tackle 3 times. Release.
So Paddy Jackson puts the ball as far downfield as he can. Well, as we saw last night, if you watch the Worcester-Bristol game in the championship, Worcester were trailing by 14 points with only 7 or 8 minutes to go, and they scored 2 converted tries, so it can happen. Rickard Strauss taken by Ben Marshall. Looked like an athlete there, did Marshall. Jordy Murphy. George Smith does what he's been doing all through his career.
Incredible work from George Smith. Makes the tackle and has that ability to get back on his feet and make that turnover. That's what's made him such a world-class player for so long.
Well, 4 minutes to go, and as George Smith gets the close-up, quite deservedly. Who is your man in close-up in terms of man of the match, Alan?
Well, I'm probably going to have to go with the winning side. I'd like to be picking an Irish guy. I think there's been some good performances. Chris Henry's done really well, you know, coming back from being out for so long. Gilroy's looked energetic. Dave Carney, Rob Carney. But it's going to have to be a Barbarians man, because it looks like they're going to win, and it's that man Dean Faree that I mentioned. Joe Rocathoko had a great game, David Smith, but for me, Dean Faree, you know, he's been fantastic all night. Put in some great tackles, some great carries, and brilliant work at the breakdown. Really energetic. So my man of the match is Dean Faree for the Barbarians.
Yeah, Dion Faree, there he is, captain of the Western Province to Currie Cup success in 2012, 84 appearances for the Stormers. South Africa, 7s, and now a Barbarian, and a very successful one indeed.
Yeah, what a great signing for someone as well. With Leon gone down, we mentioned it could be a really good acquisition for a team.
Set.
Whether if he decides to stay, I'm not really sure on his circumstances, but really good player.
Reset. Reset.
And Luke McGrath thought he was away there, but not to be.
Sorry?
Maybe it's a bit ironic, the guys from the Barbarians who are potentially out of contract or being released because of relegation, they're probably the 4 or 5 guys that have really stood up tonight. If George Schmidt was probably on from the start, he's just been incredible since he's been on as well. He's, you know, fantastic player. At 35 to still be able to do that.
And he's not chasing a contract. And I bet the Wasps fans watching tonight will be delighted with George Smith's cameo performance.
Well, I tell you, I've seen him up close. I've trained with him, you know, in 2010, and I was just amazed at his durability, his energy, his passion for the game, and he's just proved that he's played with so many different clubs and can still deliver. Great signing for Wasps.
Shane Jennings gets the ball away, but Ruan Pinar's put under a lot of pressure there, and you felt the penalty had to come in that situation. The Barbarians desperately trying to reorganise defensively there because they know what's coming, and Paddy Jackson hurriedly puts the ball as close to the corner flag as he can. But into the final 2 minutes, it's going to be very difficult for Ireland to get the try converted and then get one more opportunity for the extra 3. So they need to score now, and they need to score now very, very quickly.
Yeah, they do. They need to get on the scoreboard here, and it's, you know, possibly come from them all again. They're definitely going to keep it tight. They've had some success here.
Barbarians bringing down that maul. Greg Garner plays the advantage here. Off goes Luke McGrath inside for Craig Gilroy.
Here you go, there.
Another penalty. McGrath, Madigan. Tackling's good. It was George Smith again who made that tackle. Now it's Robbie Dyack. Can they turn over the ball one more time? The Barbarians know. They give away another penalty.
Ball down. There you go.
Here goes McGrath. Devon Toner. McGrath and Ben Marshall. Good defence by the Abercrave sock Adam Jones, and Ireland do score. And it's Paddy Jackson who smashes his way through this resolute Barbarians defence. And maybe there is still just an outside chance, but Ian Madigan with the drop at goal conversion attempt has to get it. Oh, he does! What a conversion it was from Madigan. As we see the try again, Irish hope in the final seconds of this match.
Yeah, Jackson does work great coming onto the ball there. Great pace from Luke McGrath to break down. He does really, really well, and incredible stuff from Madigan. The conversion from the touchline, dropping the ball over the bar like that, gives him a chance. 1 point in it. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of play left. So one last shot for Ireland.
It looks like your man of the match, who's down injured, is it? Dion Fury. Shane Jennings just drawing the attention there of the referee, Greg Garner.
Yeah, I think it's come from a Devin Toner tackle. You know, Toner uses the hip, he turns a lot, turns really well, and he's so hard to tackle for a big man. And I think Fury certainly felt the full force of Devin Toner's hip there.
Dave Ward comes on, the Harlequin.
So when he kicks it, time will go on again.
And they've appreciated Fury's performance here in Limerick.
Substitution for Barbarians, number 16, take the board, replacing number 2, Dion Moore.
So 10 seconds to go. And yet again, between Ireland and the Barbarians, it's a 1-point match. Listen to the crowd now. You'd think Munster were playing here. Oh, Madigan, did that go backwards? It did. Oh, no, it didn't.
Time for the scrum.
All very pantomime there. Oh, yes,
Yeah,
it
time
is.
for scrum.
Oh, no, it isn't. And oh, yes, it is. A knock on. Scrummage to the Babas. Final play of the game. Get it in, get it out, get it away. Record another famous Barbarians victory against an international selection.
Yeah, it's disappointing for Ireland there, but you know, it's overall, I think they've made some mistakes, some errors. They've only come together this week. There's certainly a lot of positives for Joe Schmidt to take out of it. You know, you're playing against some world-class players, and a big learning curve for a lot of the less inexperienced, you know, Irish players coming in tonight, and they've stuck to their guns. They've found it difficult, you know, but they've given themselves a shot. So there's certainly a lot of positives, some big performances. You know, for Ireland, and but they'll be disappointed if they don't get this back and get the result.
And Kirshner says we will take the victory, and unbelievably this is the third time that the Barbarians have beaten Ireland by 1 point. 29-28 in the last meeting in 2012, 31-30 at Lansdowne Road in 2000, and now 22-21 here in Thomond Park in Limerick. This the fourth Ireland Babas meeting in Ireland, and Ireland have never won. Disappointment for the Irish, greater prizes for them ahead. They hope with the World Cup fast approaching. The Barbarians, they head off to Twickenham on Sunday to play England with a victory firmly in the back pocket.
Ladies and gentlemen, supporters of the West Stand section 218, please make an effort to exit via 217 or 209. Thank you.
Yeah, very. We've worked hard. Obviously, a couple of the 2 days we've been together. Obviously, we chucked in together from the start on Sunday, and we've just been gearing up for this weekend. And we're taking it game by day, and we really enjoyed it that game today. Yeah, obviously, everyone knows what the Barbars are like, and this week we've gelled really well, and there's a bunch of top lads, to be fair, and we've all got on really well, and we showed out there some of the partnerships we had worked really well, and obviously in our favour with the result as well. Yeah, definitely. For myself, this was a big privilege, and I think I had to take my chance here, really, and obviously show the Welsh coaches what I've been missing the last couple of months, and hopefully they take note today, and I'm just looking forward to the months ahead. No, I think some of the forwards are a bit annoyed at me. I think I stole it from them, but I thought I was there, and I thought I'd take my chance, and luckily I got over that whitewash. Yeah, obviously we've got. I think we're in camp in a couple of weeks' time, and we've got a lot of preparation. A couple of camps away, and I think in Switzerland and Qatar, and obviously we'll just see how that goes. And obviously we've got the 2 games against Ireland and Italy, so it's a long road, and hopefully we can keep building towards obviously that first game in the World Cup. I'm not too sure. I think for tonight, I think we'll enjoy tonight, and we'll reset tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens for the rest of the days coming. Thank you very much.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports.